Gentlemen, thank you very much for joining me for what is going to be a bit of a discussion around your reflections and lessons learned over the years through your careers. And obviously the common factor between the three of you is Evans and Peck. So Mel Evans and Graeme Peck having founded Evans and Peck, and Ian McIntyre being the first person to join you. So there is obviously quite a connection, and my connection with the three of you is that fact that I came and joined Evans and Peck as one of the early graduates in 2000, and Ian has continued to mentor me over the years. So I've always had quite a connection to the business, and even came back. A number of years ago, came back for the second time. I didn't get enough the first time. And so now I run my own business. So I think there's so many lessons and from learning from your experience that would be fantastic to share with people in our industry, in our engineering construction industry. So let's start with Mel and Graeme, yourselves, about the business. When you started Evans and Peck in the early years, or at any point really in that, did you ever wonder whether you were going to succeed? Were you ever worried about whether this business was going to be successful?
The answer is very simple, no.
Never?
Well, I didn't. Do you, Ray?
No, I mean, there was an understanding between us both, and not necessarily between us, by us both,
yes,
that provided we maintained quality of service and outcome, there would always be clients willing to pay for it. And I don't think we ever varied from that belief. Obviously, industry turndowns, that impacts on your ability to get the work coming in to maintain staff. But that's nothing to do with your ability to service the clients that are there.
Right. Okay. Because, I mean, you know that a lot of first businesses, the statistics are that a lot of them do fail, and people say that it takes at least 3 years, to establish a business, and potentially more than that. So I think it's fantastic to hear that, you felt like you had the right ingredients right from the beginning.
If I can jump in
no,
there.
That might not be right.
Well, I was going to say, if I can jump in there, I think Graham's alluded to the downturn that we hit in, I think it was about 1992.
89 to 92.
And we were pretty agile, and what happened was Graeme went off around Asia, looked up his friends, and the upshot of that was that about 30% of our business was outside of Australia from there through until the Asian crash in 1998. So it was pretty quick to adapt. And
yes.
I spent a lot of time in Indonesia and Malaysia. Other people were in Vietnam and Indonesia and Philippines, and so we adapted to where the market was.
Yes.
And then Asian crash, people came back to Australia. That coincided with the Olympics preparation, and so we were then busy again. So it was very adaptable.
Yeah. And I believe...
But the question was, did you ever think we were going to fail? The answer
yes.
to that, no.
Definitely no. Yeah, that's right. And that was the main point, exactly. People have to believe that's right. And when you're saying you're always going to have challenges in business, but it's what you do in those times that... And I think I've heard you, Graeme, sometimes in previous conversations around, well, you've got an option. If the work is not there in Australia, do you let people go? Or do you go then and look for where the work might be?
Exactly what we did.
Yeah.
Oh, Graeme went with all our good wishes and hopes.
That's right. Go on, Graeme, save us.
I think there's another aspect to that too, that the people in the group were indeed adaptable,
yes.
Flexible, versatile. And a lot of us had come from Pearson Bridge, and we used to say there, everyone's expected to be able to do everything, at least badly.
But everything.
Well, if they survived, they didn't do it badly for long.
and it was true. If you, as Graeme said, if you survive beyond 6 months, you're pretty good at doing most things. And so there was a general confidence that people could take on things that they hadn't done before and make sense of it. And it was also a very collaborative environment, and that carried through into Evans and Peck as well. We did our best work, I think, at times with a whiteboard and perhaps a bottle of red and a good discussion on whatever was the particular issue that somebody was facing at that time. So there were lots of reasons why we had the resilience
Yes.
to not be victim to
Yes.
what was happening in the market.
Yeah.
And we were adaptable and flexible as a group.
Yeah, I think there's a message there also, and it's a message that I've over the years tried to instill in clients. In the construction business, historically, if a project goes bad, they look around for whose head's going to roll. And so regularly in a construction business, the reason it's going bad is someone screwed up in the estimate, or some issue at management level has not been dealt with properly.
Yeah.
My view is that no matter how good or bad the project is going, what you have to do is look at the performance of the individuals. Are they doing the best they can in the circumstances? Are they able to cope with the situation that they're faced with? Is there support available to prop them?
Yes.
And because in their heads they've got a lot of information and a lot of experience. The moment you sack them, that's loss to the project and loss to the company. So it's very important to not think of failures as a reason to go out the door, but as failures as a reason to analyse why and see what can be done by way of personal support.
Absolutely.
To ensure that the individual survives and benefits from it, and the organisation as a whole retains what's in that person's mind.
Yeah.
So
So what you're saying, Graeme, is about learning experiences, taking that when things don't
you've
work
got
out, is what can you learn from it?
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
I have a very clear recollection of several times when I was 20-something, hearing Graeme say, if you're not making the mistakes, you're not trying.
Yes.
So we had a sort of a bravery
Yes.
at 20-something to give things a go. But he also used to say, but know when to put your hand up
Yes.
and call for help. And it was that sort of organisation, and we did the same thing in Evans and Peck. That same principle carried through into the consulting firm. It had a big effect on those of us who were 20-something at the time in terms of our general attitude. It's a bit like I've often said to people, don't tell me what the problem is, tell me what your solution is, and then tell me what the problem was, to get people to not just ask for the recipe.
Yeah. Come prepared with some solutions that can be tested.